Well, hey, everybody. Good afternoon. We're getting ready to record early today. We'll start here in just a couple minutes. Let's get some folks in here because we have listener questions. Coming up here in just a second. Let me know where you're tuned in. We'll get started here shortly. This is a European special today. Pam had something come up, so she can't join us, as did Ricky. Scott's living his best life down at Walt Disney World. We have a special guest host for Friday's show coming up in 1 hour. We'll be doing the second show in 1 hour with the special guest host. Never been on the show before. But you do know this person if you hang out in the clubhouse. Shout out to TD Nickus over on Instagram. Martin L. Webb, shout out. We'll get started here in a few minutes. If you have a question, drop it in the comments, or we're going to have the phone lines open today for the listener question show. We're going to do it a little bit differently. You can call in and we can discuss your question today if you want, since it is just me. Hey, Tony. Those were grandma's dressing balls, and they were awesome. Just polishing off the last couple leftovers. Still in the fridge. TD Nickus just got back from Disney yesterday. You might want to give me a call and give me a brief trip report here in just a couple of seconds when I open up the phone lines if you are free. This will be Wednesday's podcast. If we can keep the trip report down to like 7 or 8 minutes, just some highlights, that would be great. Because we're going to try to keep the show to about 35 minutes. Currently is freezing in Missouri, where I'm at. We have 3 inches of snow, probably about 3.5, maybe 4 now, because it snowed again this morning. I will be headed out to Walt Disney World in 9 days, to Animal Kingdom Lodge, so I cannot wait for that. Shout out to Len and Jen, who are at the boardwalk right now. They're getting ready to go to Jollywood Nights tonight. They got to see Scotty G at Beaches and Cream yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Got to see those 3 guys hanging out together. I wasn't jealous at all that you guys were at Beaches and Cream hanging out together. I loved it. It was awesome. That picture made my day. Talking some Sparty Band, some Disney. Probably having a milkshake. I wish I could have been there. 1 week. 1 week and a couple days. So Animal Kingdom Lodge for a night, and then the Disney Treasure. Adventure is calling. Shout out to Scotty G over on Instagram out at Walt Disney World. Saw that he was at Epcot. I don't know if he still is. I haven't looked lately, but he was at Epcot. Bundles, I don't know what the recipe is. I have to ask my wife. I know it is made from stovetop. Stovetop is one of the ingredients. I don't know what the bonding agent is. They're good. There's some other stuff in there, but I don't know. They're so good. They're good for like an appetizer. My wife puts them in the big bowl. As people come over, you just walk through the kitchen, grab them, sit down, and wait for like dinner to be ready. And they're so good. Scott is eating, drinking, and shopping around the world showcase. Not a bad Monday. Get all my windows resized. I'm getting ready to meet up with Jason and Veronica. We just got back to Fort Wilderness. That'll be fun. Jason and Veronica. I'll follow along that tonight. All right. See if I can find some questions. I do need questions. So if anybody has a question, please help me out, because when I'm solo, I need even if you're just kind of helping me out with a question that you can help me with. For the good of the cause, put a question in the comments for me, because we're not recording yet, so I can say this. Put a question, a trip planning question that you've ever had in the comments, even if you're not going to call in. But I will have the phone lines open if you want to call in. When the show starts, I have the phone lines ready to go. It's just hard when you're solo, but circumstances being what they are, I had to be solo today. Sometimes it happens. So we're doing what we got. Got some in the inbox. I'm looking at the inbox. Got somebody who reported back some highlights from her trip. I think we read that one already. Let's see. I think I answered this one too. No, I don't think we answered this one. All right. I'm talking to myself here. Okay. I'm trying to get stuff. That was kind of a surprise one, so I had to be careful with that one. I think I can do that one without the person. Okay. Well, let's record this show so we can get going here for the second show, because the second show's got to start at 4 Central. So let me turn off that music. It's fun until it's not. All right. So the phone lines will be open during the show. So if you want to call in with a question, but since I'm solo, I'll have to finish my thought and then answer the call. So I won't. Yeah. So that's going to be how it is. All right, here we go. It's episode 2601. Why is that sized so weird? There it is. All right, here we go. Remember, I need your questions in the comments. If you have a question, please put it in the comments. Questions in the comments would be great once we get rolling. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2601 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a great week as we settle back in from the Thanksgiving holiday here in the States. I know it's a rough one, and those folks I have heard that actually do work in offices and, have kind of that normal 9-to-5 life. Does anybody have that kind of life anymore? I mean, I guess I used to have it when I was a teacher where, used to go in and teach the kids. You'd be in there during normal school hours and you had a normal kind of everyday life. You worked by the school calendar, but, haven't been doing that since 2017. I just work out of my house at this point. But I've heard that at this point of the calendar year that you kind of just push everything off till 2025 at this point. So maybe that's the case, maybe not. I know in some professions it's crunch time. So either way, we hope that you keep the Be Our Guest podcast with you as you're powering through the end of 2024. Maybe you're getting ready for marathon weekend. Marathon weekend is sneaking up on us. Like nobody's business. It's about 4.5 weeks away for all of us that are going down for all the festivities in early January. Maybe you're running the 5K for the first time. Maybe you're doing the Dopey Challenge for the 10th time. Either way, it's going to be an epic time down there in January. The only thing we can do is we can all start praying for good weather. Is it going to matter? Probably not, but it never hurts to put in a good word with the big man upstairs. I'm just saying, now's the time. Let's put in a good order, because we've had every once in a while we get good weather for marathon weekend. 8 times out of 10, sketchy weather just makes it challenging, and we always have stories. But I'd rather not have stories and have pleasant weather. That's just me. So anyway, hope you're having a great week. If you've noticed, I haven't introduced anybody on today's show. I haven't gone to Ricky. You haven't heard her giggle in the background. I haven't talked about my boy, Scotty G. You know why I haven't talked about him, because he's probably on a golf cart right now, causing havoc all around Fort Wilderness. I haven't even talked about Pam Forrester. She's not here as well. She had something come up this week and can't join us. I am flying solo for today's Wednesday show. But don't worry, Friday, we're going to do something fun on Friday's show. There is going to be a co-host on Friday's show. I saw this as an opportunity. We're going to have a co-host who has never co-hosted our podcast, but you do know this person if you hang out over at the Be Our Guest Podcast Clubhouse at beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. This person is over there all the time, key to the Clubhouse's success. So you will want to come back on Friday for that show. But today, of course, it is listener questions. And so I thought that I would go into our inbox and answer some of the questions, dig through there. But also I thought that I would get some questions from our folks that are tuned in live, and also look at this as an opportunity. I've been wanting to do this for just a little bit. Kind of do a little bit, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes of kind of state of the Be Our Guest podcast. And just kind of remind our new listeners and folks that have been with us for quite a long time, the different ways you could interact with our show. We have lots of different ways, different things that are associated with the Be Our Guest podcast, because we've been doing the show now for over 2,600 episodes. We started the show in March of 2008 and have been going consistently. We've never taken a break since then. So we've got a lot going on. I don't know if you know this. This is a good time to mention this, because we'll be moving into a new year where everybody makes their resolutions here in the next month or so. If you didn't know, we have a running group, just kind of a fitness group that gets together at the Run Disney events, but also encourages each other throughout the year. We're called the Be Our Guest Podcast Lizards. Great group of folks. We have over, I think it's almost, we're just a little bit shy of 3,000 folks over on Facebook in our group. And you can join that. Just go to Be Our Guest Lizards on Facebook. You just kind of, you got to just answer a couple questions there and we approve you. No problem. Just ask you, like, who's your favorite host of the Be Our Guest podcast? If you put Mike, you get in quicker. Just kidding. It doesn't matter. We just want to make sure you're not like a Russian spam bot. And then you're in. And what happens is it's so encouraging. We have so many great members. You post your walks. You don't even have to be a runner. You could just be somebody who wants to walk, who wants to just get in better shape, who just needs like a team behind you, who wants somebody to support you in your fitness journey to make yourself a little bit more healthy. You don't have to be an Olympic athlete. None of us are. I'm a 51-year-old dude with bad knees that's just trying to hang in there as a Midwestern dad. But we're all in different places in our lives. Now, we do have people that are fast. I love those people. But, you know, we have people that also just walk, a mile a week, and that is totally fine. We're all in different places, but I'd encourage you to do that. I've mentioned the Clubhouse. The Clubhouse is like our Cheers. It's kind of like the forums we used to have back in the day, way back a long time ago. This is, again, aging kind of our show. We had what were called V-Bulletin forums. I miss those things so much. It was kind of the heart of our show way back before Twitter and Facebook took off. We had just message boards. I forgot even what the website was, like beourguestpodcast.com/forums, I think. And you went there and they were like, it was basically like the Clubhouse, but it was just kind of more visual. It looked prettier than the Discord does, but everybody got together and talked about things and it was just fun. That's what our Discord is now, in a different way. Everybody gets together. We talk. Tricia hosts a trivia question every day. She posts like a picture of sometimes it's like a visual picture. You got to figure out on tie-dye cheesecake, too easy. Got that the other day. Mickey ice cream sandwich, piece of cake. People are talking about, we have a sports channel. We have Disney TV and movies. We have travel hacks. Cody's in there telling people how to save money. It's a community. Like, you come in there and just people are posting memes all the time. It's just like, again, showing my age, it reminds me of the TV show Cheers, right? You pop in there, you can kind of see on the side who's in there at the time. And it's like, hey, I see that, Cody's in here right now, or Tricia's in here right now. And you can just kind of chat. You can it's live. It's real time. You can chat with people, post messages. Somebody just posted right now. That's the sound. And it's just a good time, and it's totally free. So come on over to brguestpodcast.com/Discord. You can also follow me on the social media at brguestmike. Now, the reason you would do that is that this time next week, I'm going to be going down to Walt Disney World, and I'll be on the Disney Treasure. Disney is hosting us to go on the Treasure to check out the ship. So they're also giving us the internet package. So when I get something to use like that, I'm going to use it. So if you want me to go check something out for you, and they're going to let us go into staterooms, going to have staterooms set up to like videotape and check out. If you have a question, like what's it look like under the bed in a deluxe ocean view, I'll do that. I'm not with my family. So that's something you can do like that. So I just want to kind of give you like a state of, if you want to join the Lizards, please do that. You want to come to the forums, we'd love to see you over there. And we're going to be raising money for Give Kids the World. We're going to have a live show in March, 6 hours down there. Last year, we raised $50,000 in 6 hours. We hope to do that again. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have lots and lots of giveaways and great stuff. We've already had a couple of Zoom meetings with them about that. It's going to be amazing. And volunteering. You can come down. We're going to volunteer the day before at the village. You can help like run they have attractions, they have like a big swing. They have a train around the village. We have games, and I helped serve. I made avocado toast all morning in the food court. That was what I did with Scotty G. Scott served something else. I was working the avocado toast station. But anyway, we're trying to do that with our listeners. It's so much fun. So we have a lot going on, but just want to kind of give that. So it is listener questions, but this is kind of a state of the Be Our Guest podcast today as we're here. So let's get to some of the questions. Let's see here. Michelle over on Instagram says, walking around Epcot yesterday, we noticed some cool looking cookie boxes for the cookie stroll, but they seem sold out at every holiday booth. Any tips for tracking down hard to find merchandise? Man, I'm not really a merch guy. I'm going to throw that one out to the chat room because I know we have a lot of chatters out there that are more merch people. Scotty G might be still tuned in. And if anybody has feedback, I will read that. Anybody have any tips for looking for that hard to find merch that has been sold out? She saw this cookie box for the cookie stroll. If you see that, let me know. And I'll, before the show's out, I'll put that back in for Michelle 94 over on Instagram. Now I did see, here's one thing that cracked me up. I don't know if you saw this on social media this week. Did you see that over at Epcot, they are now selling the holiday sweater that Figment wears in Journey to Your Imagination? I mean, come on now. Okay. I know we all have different styles, right? And everybody's like, God, Mike's a bum. He looks like Bill Belichick. He's always wearing he's like a defensive coordinator. I mean, this is what I worked for my whole life. Like I always had to dress up to be a teacher. My 1 year I wore a tie every single day. Now I get to work from home and I get to wear a hoodie every day. It's like my dream job at this point. But like they had the holiday sweater. It's, that blue color with the Epcot logo that Figment's got on during the holidays in the attraction. And I thought when I saw that thing go on the shelf, I thought they would have a ton of those left over, right? I thought that thing is going to go right to Cast Connections. I thought you're going to see that thing down at the store on, on iDrive. Dude, this morning sold out except for 3XLs and smalls. They're not to be found. Those things are hotter than Texas chili. So I missed out. Those things, people like them. I guess they're really going. So, and Deanna right now says overseas why power of our show. Instantly on YouTube says they found the cookie box, the International Gateway. So look at that. And that's a great shot, by the way. It's one of my favorite stores. That store right by the International Gateway on the way out. I love that store. It's called the World Traveler, I think. Yeah, go there. And Alfred says eBay, but eBay jacks their prices. So I try to avoid that. So Deanna said to check cast members. Deanna Frisbee. We have two Deannas. We have battling Deannas. Deanna over on Instagram says, ask the cast members, as does Rob over on YouTube. Cast members will also try to find where things are for you. Len says, if you could pick the next location for a Skyliner station, where would you put it? My answer would be the Animal Kingdom entrance. Oh, man, that is a loaded question. Where would I put the next Skyliner station? Man, where would I put it? See, Disney Springs is a quandary, right? Because that would cause, if you put it at Disney Springs, I think what you would have to do immediately is charge for parking at Disney Springs. Because if you didn't, people would park at Disney Springs to avoid parking to kind of get inside the closed loop, right? To get to the parks. So I don't think that would work. I have always said if you added a Skyliner station to Coronado Springs, it would immediately make Coronado Springs a deluxe resort. That's the only thing Coronado Springs is missing is a Skyliner station. Because when I think about where do I want to stay this time, Coronado is like I'm staying there in January for Marathon Weekend because it just has so much. It's got so much going for it. It's got many food options. It's got a great pool. It's got a great pool bar, great rooms. I like the rooms. You don't have to stay in the tower. It's really kind of got everything I need. It's centrally located. It's right next to the studios and Epcot, right down World Drive from Magic Kingdom. And I mean, it's an Animal Kingdom resort. So yeah, if you put one there, so I guess I would say Coronado is where I'd put a station. I don't know, but Animal Kingdom entrance, I like it. I do like it. I'm trying to think though, yeah. You just connect it right there from like maybe that churn, maybe take that churn at the boardwalk and rejigger that thing and put it out towards Animal Kingdom Lodge. I'm trying to think on the fly here. Michelle says, thanks to everybody who helped her with that. Any word on what Disneyland is doing for the 70th anniversary and when does the celebration begin? From Alfred over on Facebook. I've heard unofficial stuff, but I haven't heard anything official. I know they're doing a 70th anniversary, obviously, but haven't heard anything as far as like when the official celebration kicks off and what they're doing. I can't wait though. Oh, it's going to be fun. The merch out there will be great. And I did see, speaking of the clubhouse, Cody, one of our listeners, I think it was his wife, got 2 of the cookie or the popcorn buckets that look like gingerbread houses out there. Those things are so stinking cool. And she had 2 of them yesterday. We posted it in the clubhouse. Let's see here. Bundles over on YouTube, who's tuned in, says, I'm thinking about booking a Disney cruise next year and wanted to ask if the fish extender gifts are still popular. Thanks. Oh, good question. Bundles. Yes. So we sailed on the Disney Fantasy in July for a week to the Eastern Caribbean, and there are lots and lots of families still doing fish extender exchanges. Now, we were just by ourselves, right? We just had our own stateroom. We were not traveling with a group. So we were not involved in a fish extender exchange. And I'll tell you what, like my wife is not, don't come at me, bro, on this one, but my wife is not into fish extender stuff. My wife, and I've said this on the show many times, she is a minimalist. She does not like junk. If you're watching on the video, that shelf behind me gives her anxiety. She does not like trinkets and junk. She likes the house to be lean and clean. You know, she doesn't collect stuff. She doesn't like to keep stuff. She hates when I keep junk. And I'm the opposite, right? If you know Mike in the Midwest, you've heard it. Like I love like my little ceramic Christmas tree, my little Charlie Brown Christmas tree. I like my little Buzz and Woody McDonald's toys. They used to sit on top of my intercom in my classroom. And I told the kids they watched over them when I taught 6th grade. My little bobbleheads. I love stuff like that. It's so funny. So real quick, my wife sent me a meme last night before we were going to bed, and it couldn't be more true. She said, God makes 2 kinds of people. People that like white Christmas lights and people that like colored Christmas lights. And they marry each other. And that couldn't be more true because I love colored Christmas lights. I love they have to be color and I like them to be flashing and I like the bubble lights. I like them all to be like 70s gaudy looking. My wife likes boom, just white lights. They don't need to be flashing, just white lights. So the Christmas tree in our living room, boom, boring white lights. But the Christmas tree in my office, bubble lights here in the studio, Yes. So anyway, I don't know where we're going with that. But yeah, the fish extender gifts, we weren't in one, but we saw them happening all over the place. And the gifts are cute, right? I mean, because I think a lot of people that do these gifts, they're very creative, like with crickets. You see very personalized things like notepads with the date of the cruise, the name of the ship, like we were on the Fantasy. You see a lot of stuff for the little kids. You see a lot of like hand sanitizers, soaps, like little games like, am I dating myself, like jacks and cards and stuff like that for the kids. Just little trinkets and stuff. And you see the excitement of people delivering their gifts throughout the evening, going around, kind of scamper around, trying to be like a Secret Santa kind of thing. So it's fun, and they're still doing them. So yeah, fish. And it's always fun to get a secret gift. It's kind of cool to get one. So yeah, do that. Let's see. Rob says he would put his over on Facebook or over on YouTube. Says he put his Skyliner station at Animal Kingdom with a stop at the lodge. That makes sense too. Oh, and Rob's asking what a fish extender gift is. So that's a good question. I should probably, as a former teacher, I should probably say what that is. On Disney Cruise Line, and this has kind of changed over the years, but this was on the original ships, the Wonder and the Magic and the Wonder. Outside your door, they had these little like decorations, right? And it was a fish. So, and sometimes now they're like seahorses, they're all kinds of stuff, but it was a fish. And it was originally there so they could hang, like they could put mail. So like if you got like a Apollo reservation or something from guest services, they could hang, like basically it was got like a kind of like a clothespin where they could put it there outside your door so that if you got a notice or something, some kind of a note from guest services, it would be hanging outside your door and you would know what was going on. It's like a mail holder. Well, what happened was, in true Disney fan fashion, we found another reason for this. So what you would get is like a thing. It was it was named a fish extender. You would hang this thing. It was kind of like a single like shoe holder. If you have like a shoe holder over your door, maybe this is like a Midwestern thing. We have one on our door in our closet that holds a bunch of shoes, like with clear pockets. Everybody's got a pocket. So there'd be a pocket for Mike, Pam, Paige, and Mallory. So we got 4 of us. And everybody's got a little pocket, and it hangs off the fish right outside your door. And has like the Rallman family at the top. Just Google fish extender and you can find a million of them. But everybody's got a pocket. And then what happens is throughout the cruise, either you do it one time throughout the cruise or every night of the cruise, everybody goes around and like drops little gifts in everybody's pocket. It becomes kind of a pain in the butt, but it also is kind of fun to get these little gifts. And a lot of times you leave a gift from your geographic part of the world, because a lot of times you're cruising on people from different parts of the world. So like when we did it from St. Louis, we gave stuff from like, Cardinal stuff, because we're St. Louis Cardinals, or Mizzou stuff, because that's what I talk about. And we get like one time we got like Skyline chili from folks from Cincinnati, and I immediately threw it away. No, just kidding. I'm just playing. So stuff like that. It's neat. It's a great way to kind of learn about other parts of the world. It was neat. Let's see here. Deanna says, what would you consider don't miss attractions for a Disneyland vet going to Walt Disney World for the first time in 20 years? Holy cow, that's the opposite way I thought you were going to go. So I would say don't miss Guardians, even though it tears me up. I wouldn't miss Flight of Passage, kind of the same way. I would not miss Help Me Out group here that's tuned in live. Those are the 2 I would not miss. I wouldn't miss the TTA, because you don't have that at Disneyland anymore, obviously. That's a classic. I would not miss Carousel of Progress. That's a classic. Let's see. What else would I not miss if you're going out to Walt Disney World? Spaceship Earth, absolutely. Living with the Land, that's probably in my top 5. That's a classic. 'Cause Living with the Land, even though you might not say, Mike, that's not really, shouldn't be in the top 5. I think that's as close as you can go back to like 1980, like mid 1980s Epcot with Spaceship Earth. Maybe Ratatouille, because that's obviously one of the newer attractions that you could do. Because Tiana's is going to be out at Disneyland in a very similar form. So I don't know if you need to do that. Tron. Yep. Rob adds Tron. That would be another one I would make sure to have on your list. I'm trying to think about Animal Kingdom besides Flight of Passage. Maybe Everest. It's a neat roller coaster. I don't know if that's a must. But that, because you have Galaxy's Edge is kind of the same both places. Trying to think. You got Mickey and Minnie's in both places. I think I got to get you started and then kind of fall in from there. That's a good question, though. All right, see if we have any other questions in the chat. I did have an email here that I wanted to share from listener Laura. Laura just got back from Walt Disney World, and she said I could share some of her thoughts on her trip. And she said, we really enjoyed our trip to Walt Disney World. The Animal Kingdom Lodge was fantastic, and our room was lovely with a Savannah view. The weather cooperated with all the plans and even got chilly later in the week, which makes the Christmas decorations feel even more jolly. Got to Walt Disney World on arrival day early enough to head over to Animal Kingdom and do the safari, say goodbye to Dinosaur, and ride Expedition Everest. Then did BOMA for dinner at the resort. This trip, we actually planned out park hopping. We typically would buy it, but did not ever feel we utilized it well. So the next day, we did Hollywood Studios, favorite Christmas music and decor, rope dropped, and lightning lanes. I think we did most everything except the shows that day. Then, because Jollywood Nights was going to be there, we park hopped to Epcot and ate at Beer Garden. Hot take. I like this buffet better than BOMA, and the atmosphere is so fun. We rode Soarin' and Living with the Land because you must, and watched Luminous. The next day, we took the morning to actually appreciate the resort more and then headed to Magic Kingdom early afternoon for Mickey's Very Merry. Knocked out some rides before including Tiana's and ate at Tony's for the first time before the party. Love the Christmas parade and fireworks so much and got all the cookies to bring home. Rest day for midweek. It was a little overcast and sprinkled on and off, but it does not matter when hanging out at the Grand Floridian and getting a massage. Then went to Disney Springs for a bit, and Anthony's favorite there is Boathouse. Those sliders are the best. Utilized park hopping and rope dropped again on Thursday for Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. We were able to catch some rides, but focused on the shows and the Fantasmic dining package. Friday, we went to Epcot for more Guardians of the Galaxy. Delicious meal at Jico. Saturday, we bookended the trip with Animal Kingdom rope drop, early entry for Disney Resort guests to clutch because you can grab several rides and the parks are so nice to walk around in with the lower crowds. The grand finale was Wild Africa Trek. We did this back in 2019, but it was so good we had to do it again. Highly recommend it and totally worth the price tag with the superior tour guides, photos, and food at the end of the tour. Thanks again for the gift card because it came in handy to come home with a few things. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody at the Magic for Less and the BOGP. 365 days till our next trip, Laura and Anthony. So, I mean, right there, that was a great, quick little mini trip report from Laura. I appreciated her sharing. I liked her hot take because BOMA is such a great buffet. But she said Beer Garden is up there with it. And I agree with her on that one because the food selection at BOMA is outstanding. BOMA is a great meal. And I don't know. I'm a sucker for those. I guess you could call them like inside experiences where when you go inside Beer Garden, you're like inside of a little German village. You know, it feels like you're kind of sitting outside in a German village, but you're inside a restaurant, but you have the live entertainment, the guys playing the instruments, and the communal experience. It's not for everybody. I like it. I'm an extrovert, but the foods are good. They got great desserts on the bar, meats and potatoes. That's my jam. It's not everybody's, but it's good. And it's still one of the lower cost meals in World Showcase. So I like it. And I still have not done Wild Africa Trek. I got it. I've done a lot of tours at Walt Disney World, but I haven't got to the one, any of them over at Animal Kingdom. So I need to do that. So I like this recommendation. So I appreciate Laura passing that along because that's a good tip. So thank you for that. And I appreciate that very much. All right, let me check. And also Rob says, don't miss the safari if you're coming out to Walt Disney World. I agree. That's something you don't have even close to out at Disneyland for Deanna. All right, here's another question. Now, let me get to this one because this one has a surprise element for a family, so I cannot say the listener's name. So, unnamed listener is dropping this one in. And also, by the way, Sandy over on Facebook, who's tuned in live, says Wild Africa Trek was spectacular. She did it in September. Okay. Everybody's raving about the Wild Africa Trek. So if you want to do this, and I've heard this time and time and time again, that it is awesome. So everybody's chiming in saying how great it was. So do it. Get on it and enjoy it. Especially, I mean, obviously, I've seen pictures from people. My guests that do this a lot of times will send me back pictures when they get home. Just tell me about the trip. And was it? I put the email away on this one, but maybe it was Laura that sent me a picture of Laura and her husband, or it was a couple, and they're standing like right next to the crock pit. I swear that crock could just, it's got to be like a trick shot, right? I mean, I know it wasn't like photo edit or anything, but the way the picture is taken, I swear it looks like they're standing a foot away from this 12-foot long crocodile. And that thing could jump out and take off a foot at any moment. I know that they're safe and that is not happening. But when I saw the picture, I was like, that is not safe. But it's Disney. So, it's like 78 times safe because they're not going to put a guest ever in harm's way. But the picture, I was like, oh man, that's not good. But yeah, it was like one of those pictures that I would get blown up by, poster size and hang in my office. Like, look, I'm like Steve Irwin, like rest in peace. But I'd be like, I wrestled that guy to the ground. Crikey. That's how we went. All right. We have a question here from anonymous listener. This is probably going to be the last one for the day. A little bit shorter show today, but flying solo. And we'll have another listener question show next Wednesday. So if you have a question, Mike at BRGuestPodcast.com. You can be the star of next week's show. We'll have another show on Friday, though. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for Friday's show. Special did I mention special guest co-host never been on the show? I'm super excited for that. This question says, I'm a longtime listener, but this is my first official trip-related question. Technically, I had a few questions around my last trip, but they were more specific as you had booked it for us. You did an amazing job, by the way. It was a complicated trip, double split stay with my parents and my friends. I appreciated all the help. You made things so easy. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. We have an upcoming trip booked, and I apologize for not using you again. I'm actually going to a conference at the Grand Floridian, and I had to book the tickets and the room at the time of booking with the conference. I learned the hard way from a prior Disneyland trip that we cannot transfer reservation to you if it's already been paid for. Don't worry. We're going to certainly be working again in the future. Yeah, sometimes when you book a conference, you have to go through I get it. Here's the thing about my guests at the Magic for Less and our listeners. I know that you guys, if you can, you book with me. I appreciate it. And if you have to book, like if you're going with work and like I had to book a vacation where I couldn't even book it with myself because it was through Mallory's cheerleading gymnasium when she was doing all-star cheer. I had to book with the gym because it was part of the group. I couldn't even book with myself. I understand. I get it. Right. I mean, that's how it is. But I do appreciate when you book with me because that's how we pay for the whole podcast thing. So thank you for supporting us, especially during the holiday season. So I get it. I can't say your name, but mystery listener, you know who you are. Okay, here's the question. We're going down just after Christmas, and based on strong recommendations for you, we have Epcot booked for New Year's Eve. The conference tickets require park reservations. I've reached out directly to see if having a park reservation pass reservation and a dining reservation, we would be guaranteed re-entry to Epcot in the evening if we choose to park in the afternoon. Let me try this again. I had reached out directly to see if having a park pass reservation and a dining reservation, we would be guaranteed re-entry to Epcot in the evening if we chose to park in the afternoon. They could not guarantee re-entry. My question for you or the podcast team is, if you so choose, is how likely do you think it would be that we would be denied re-entry to Epcot New Year's Eve if we're trying to get back in for a 6 or 7 o'clock dinner reservation? I know it's ambitious, and I'm not sure we're going to pull it off, but we're trying to keep this trip a secret from our kids for Christmas. Therefore, if you happen to pick this question, let me know in advance. Well, I didn't let you know in advance, but I'm not telling you who this is. So this could be for anybody. So Unknown listener, here's the deal for Epcot on New Year's Eve. I don't think you're going to run into an issue with this. We have been down many times on New Year's Eve, even in years where the crowds have trended higher than they are this year. This year, the crowds in the theme parks are not trending as high as they have been in previous years. And I think you're going to be fine because we've gone in at like 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock. The thing is, you're going to Epcot. Epcot has a huge capacity for guests. The park that is going to close is Magic Kingdom and possibly the studios. So I would not stress about this. You're going to get back in. And I don't know what time your dining if you're worried about hitting your dining reservation, I mean, you're going to get into Epcot. I would not stress about this. I think you're going to be absolutely fine. And I think folks that have had this experience in the past with Epcot on New Year's Eve, I think you could echo my my sympathy, my experience. I think you're going to be fine. So yeah, I think you're going to be good. So yeah, you're going to be good. So we have somebody wants to call in with a quick trip report. And if you want to do that, Deanna, you could do that at 407-413-9395, 407-413-9395. We can do that for about 5 or 7 minutes here at the end of the show, because I do have the phone lines open and I never gave the phone number because we got all the questions in the chat. We had some conversations. We're having a good time here on a Wednesday. And I've enjoyed just hanging out with everybody here in the chat. But yeah, the phone lines are open. And Deanna said she was going to call in, but didn't want to interrupt. We have the best listeners in the world. They're so kind. But why not? We have the phone lines open. So if Deanna wants to call in here at the end of the show, we can extend the show an extra 5 to 7 minutes. Why not? So we'll hang out here and see if Deanna gives us a call. Again, at 407-413-9395. And if not, we will start to wrap things up here shortly. But I'd like to hear a few minutes about Deanna's trip, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I started the podcast in 2008 because I was kind of addicted to reading trip reports online. Because again, this was kind of before social media took off. A little backstory on the podcast. You didn't have people posting pictures and stuff and vlogs live from the Disney destination. So the closest you could get to the parks was reading like Birnbaum's guides from like that year. Or if people would post a trip report, like that was the best. So, and then when people posted pictures with their trip reports, oh my gosh, if you found one of those online, that was like the golden ticket, right? Because you could see pictures of what they were posting. That was the best. All right, we have our call. Maybe this is Deanna. Deanna, is this you?
Yes, it is.
Yes, thanks for calling. We're going to extend the show here for you. Thanks for calling in on a Wednesday, because we're
no problem.
So tell us about your trip real quick. How's it going?
Oh, it was good. We went down for a short weekend. We left Wednesday night, drove overnight, got there about 5:30, 6 in the morning, and surprisingly, our room at Pop Century was ready for us.
So now
early in the morning.
I didn't ask, where'd you guys come from?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Oh,
don't worry. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, so I'm a Penn State fan.
Okay, sure. Like if you're a Clemson fan, we're okay. We're good. I'm rooming on the Treasure with a Gamecock fan, which is going to be tough. 3 days in a small stateroom with a South Carolina. He's my buddy, but I don't know how it's going to work, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
No, so Pop Century, you guys, I got to ask you, did you get a piece of the wedge cheesecake, tie-dye cheesecake?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
There you go. Winning. Awesome. So give us a few highlights. Got about 5 minutes.
So we got to our room and then we left our room, rope dropped Animal Kingdom, did Flight of Passage, did Navi, did the Safari, did Everest, did Dinosaur, and then my other son did the Triceratops spin. Got that done pretty quickly. No lightning lanes or anything, just doing rope drop. And then we were done basically. And then we didn't reserve our tables in enough time for Thanksgiving dinner that day. So we ended up at Disney Springs at Maria and Enzo's for a little bit of Italian dinner.
But see, here's the thing. Let me just break in there. You'll never forget that Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving you had Italian and Maria and Enzo's. Never forget that one.
Exactly. Yep.
It's perfect.
So we hung out there for a little bit. And since we had a long day, that day. We went back to the hotel, and then Friday we rope dropped Magic Kingdom. Even though we had park tickets, or even though we had tickets to the Christmas party, we still rope dropped Magic Kingdom, got all the rides done so that we can enjoy the party, for the night. But then it rained.
Oh man,
that night.
That stinks.
It got cold and rained right when they were supposed to start the first castle show. They canceled that, and about 10 minutes later, they canceled the parade. And then, so we decided to go hit more cookie spots. And then when we came out, the parade was already going on. They didn't announce it or anything. So we kind of missed the parade. I know we could have done the 11 o'clock one, but we were there since 7:30 in the morning. So it was a long day for us.
So now,
but we still enjoyed it.
How old are your kids?
I have twin 15-year-old boys.
So were they? I mean, I have a 16-year-old and also 27-year-old, so I've been there. How were? I mean, because that could be either way. Like they could be emotional or moody, or were they like grumpy, or were they still powering through for the Christmas party?
No, they powered through. We started them off young, going to Disney and doing like all day. Like we didn't even go back to our rooms when they were younger. They would just sleep in their stroller. So
nice.
They're kind of used to pushing it all day.
Nice. So, I mean, I hate when the weather interferes with things like that because, like I always say, when you make the plans and you're dreaming about it for, 6 weeks out, 2 months out, like it's always it's always like a 60-degree, like just a little kind of a crisp evening with perfect weather. And, then that happens. It's such a shame. I hate that, but you always make the best of it that you can.
Yeah, we did. And the funny thing is, if you want to call it funny, was that we went to a Halloween party. It was back in August, something. And it rained the entire time.
Okay. Remind me the next time you buy a ticket to a hard ticket event when you're going. I'm not. Just in case.
We don't bring good weather with us there.
So did you guys do anything else that was out of the ordinary?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did you guys do anything else though out of the ordinary that kind of stuck out from the trip?
No, not really. We did the cookie stroll, which we've never done. We did about 5 cookies, which was about enough because, it's kind of filling.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, no, not really. I mean, my one son loves the dance parties. So he was doing the dance parties at the Christmas party. So
yeah, Scott actually called in because he's down there right now. He called in last night during the live show. He was at was he at Pecos? He was at, I think, Cosmic. It was Cosmic Rays, and he said that was the place to be. So like 3 different things were happening in there all at once, like a dance party, a cookie stop, and he's like, there was a lot happening in this one location all at one time.
We did see the candlelight processional. We didn't. We just sat outside, but we were able to watch it, so that was really good.
That's exactly what I do. I never have like a dining reservation. I've never been like in a seat, but you know what? It moves my spirit back sitting on the ledge at American Adventure, back by the American Adventure sign. I still hear the music and I hear the message.
Exactly.
That's me.
Yep.
We're the same. Well, hey, I appreciate the call. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, we don't really, like to have to pay if we don't have to,
Oh man, you're
pay for the extra seating and everything.
You're talking
for the lightning lane. So
you're speaking my language.
Yep.
That's so good. Well, hey, I appreciate you calling in, and you just made the show infinitely better by coming in and making it not just me. So I appreciate that so much.
Just want to let you know, big fan of your show and listen to it, when I'm at the gym and everything. So, and we did see Scotty G, but he was in line for the processional, and we didn't want to bother him, so we just let him go.
You got to go up and bug that guy. That's the biggest mistake you made. You go bug him next time.
Well, he was taking a picture with his family, so I was
yeah, he's good. He's one of the best guys in the world. He nicest guy you'll ever meet. Next time.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Good luck to Penn State in the playoff.
Thanks.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Well, hey, that show just got better with a call from out there in South Carolina. I love our listeners. That was so fun. So we're going to wrap here and come back with you on Friday with a mystery co-host who and it's going to be fun. Never on the show before. So hope you enjoy that. So we're going to have fun on Friday. So come on back. But until then, Don't forget, our podcast always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure, whether it's to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, even Adventures by Disney. We're going to help you plan that trip for no additional cost to you. Concierge level service each and every time. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link as you do the holiday shopping. This is the season where you can really support the show. The easiest way, it's one extra click. Just bookmark it. Put it right there on your toolbar. And every time you do that shopping online, if you wouldn't mind, just click through and it takes you right back to Amazon. You support the show. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You might not think $5 a month means a lot. It means a ton to our show. Thank you to everybody who's been a supporter over the years. And if you don't mind, we'd love to have your support. If you haven't done that yet, we put out as many shows as we can. And, we try to make it worth your while. $5 a month is all it takes. And you get a bonus show if you support us. It's called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Give me a follow on social media. I'm at BeOurGuestMike on Instagram, Twitter, Threads. I'm on Threads. Facebook, I'm Mike Rallman. I'm even on Blue Sky. So check me out over there as well. I'm wherever there's social media. I try to be every place because I'm just a tech nerd. I love it all. And don't forget, we'll have the live call-in show this Sunday night. Scotty G will be back. So 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, all the places. Give us a call. The phone lines will be open and we'll be having a blast. So join us there as well. All right. We'll be back again on Friday with more, or not more of your listener questions. We're going to be talking about the small moments at the Disney parks that just make your trips amazing. It's not that fifth ride on Tron. It's not the, going like with your hair on fire with the Muppets on Rock and Roller Coaster here in 2029. It's the small moments. We're going to talk about those with our mystery co-host. So come back for that. So until then, you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Woo, that was different. So let me save this real quick. Let's see here. Hello, Mr. Slowly over in the UK. Let's see. Hang on. What was I doing? What show is this? Save this before I lose it. Whoops. All right. Since it's just us, you guys want to see the live edit? Here, I'll share. Let's do this. I'll let you guys see me edit the show real quick. Let's see. Share screen, share screen, share screen, share screen. How can I not see? I will let you see. Me edit the show real quick. I need a drink. All right, let me edit the thing real quick, and then we'll get ready for the second show. Let me edit the show real quick. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you so much for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. Today, we have a live call-in show that is a little bit different because it's just me. Nobody joined me because, well, everybody else was, let's just say, on assignment. But we got a great call at the end of the show. We opened up the phone lines and got an awesome trip report from South Carolina. And we discussed some fun questions. We talked about where a Skyliner station could go in the future. And just, if you're going to go to Walt Disney World for the first time and you're a Disneyland vet, what are the attractions that you cannot miss, and all kinds of other trip planning questions, and a great trip report coming in from Laura from her recent trip to Animal Kingdom Lodge. This and more coming your way on today's show. Don't forget, today's podcast is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney trip for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys are our VIPs. Thank you so much for that. You can support us as well, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Hello to Sully over in the UK. Sully, we miss you, buddy. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 part one. Do, 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 do. Where's the show? Where's the show? Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. / Be Our Guest Podcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front.
Be Our Guest Podcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Welcome to episode 2601 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior. Welcome to episode 2601 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I know in some professions, it's crunch time. So either way, we hope that you keep the Be Our Guest Podcast. It reminds me of the TV show Cheers, right? You pop in there, you can kind of know what they're doing. I can't wait, though. Oh, it's going to be fun. Just meal at Gico. Saturday, we bookended the trip with Animal Kingdom rope drop, early entry for Disney Resort guests to clutch because you can grab several rides and the park off a foot at any moment. I know that they're safe and that is not happening.
No, not really.
Disney parks, they just make your trips amazing. It's not that fifth ride on Tron. It's not the, going like with your hair on fire with the Muppets on Rock and Roller Coaster here in 2029. It's the small moments. We're going to talk about those with our mystery co-host. So come back for that. So until then, you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.
All right. It's all edited. I just got to publish it. All right. So let me publish it real quick. So we're just hanging out till our mystery guest gets here in just a second. So hang on. So what day will that be? December 4th, 2024. See you later. Yeah, I'm using Audition because I'm on a PC right now. Let me see. So come down here. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you so much for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. Today, we have a live call-in show that is a little bit different because it's just me. Nobody joined me because, well, everybody else was, let's just say, on assignment. But we got a great call at the end of the show. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to start here in just a few minutes. I'm just uploading that show to our server so that we are ready for the second show. Let's see here. Where is that show? Oh, my files. Here it is. Almost there. Got to get it going. You got to type all the summaries and all that stuff. We're almost done. Doing all the copying and pasting. Oh, it said Skyliner spelled wrong. That's how you spell Skyliner. What's the length of that show? 45, 42. 45, 42. It's a full show. 26. 45, 42. $45, 42, 45, 42. Schedule that on the website. That's good. It's scheduled there. Make sure it's not going out right now. Good. We're set. That show is good to go. Close that one out. We typically would buy it to be the last one for the day.
Italian dinner.
But see, here's the thing. File close. That show is in the books. Anybody know who our mystery guest host is going to be? All right, we're going to start. She says she's going to be here about 4:15. So we are just about ready to go here in a few minutes. I'm excited. We're going to be rolling shortly. So what's everybody else up to while we're just hanging out? The suspense is killing TMFLT Jen. I mean, you got to do what you got to do when your co-host can't make it. You got to be creative. The TV's about to time out on the Love Boat. Gotta make sure that doesn't time out. Got to have Love Boat playing in the background. Oops, oh, all tangled up. What's going on here? Now I have that Epcot Christmas background loop stuck in my head. Do we need background loop music until our host gets here? What do we got here? Yep, this is definitely a pivot. This stuff will put me to sleep. Maybe with the dentist or something. Well, stop snowing. You do that. I don't know why I like this. What? Reminds me when I used to DJ. What? I use this like mix between songs. You know what? I need to change this. What's up, Santa in the house? What's up? That's too much. Too soon. Nope, not white lights. Colored lights, guy. There we go. What's up, Reggie? Yeah, those are kind of cool. I'll do those. Do some red and green lights tonight. Nah, I like those. Hey, there's our special co-host. Here she comes. All the suspense. Bam! What's up, Tricia? Can you hear me?
I'm just glad I figured this all out.
See, it's not that hard. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Hang on, let me try this. Whoa, look at that. I kind of like the other one better. I'm just trying to put up the decorations here. I like that better. Turn off that stupid music. Annoying. What's up? Everybody's been waiting. Everybody's excited.
I can't disappoint.
I did the whole show. Now you get disappointed. I did a whole show by myself. It was like, God, please don't ever do another show all by yourself, Mike. It was terrible. I opened up the phone line. Somebody called in from South Carolina and saved the show. I was like, thank you for saving the show. So you guys have no snow up in Wisconsin, and we have 4 inches on the ground here in St. Louis.
The high today, though, was like 24, so we have that.
Yeah, our high was 30. I mean, it's too soon for that. Like, it didn't even get above freezing today. That's stupid. Like, I mean, you know, that's January, but I mean, it's not even Christmas yet. That's dumb. Let's go. Like, I mean, I could take it in January for like a few weeks, but we don't need all this nonsense yet. I'm over it.
We actually are moving to Florida once Lorelai graduates high school. We've just made the decision.
Oh, you made
We're
it?
done.
I thought you just died. I thought you were just like John. I didn't know like you were for real.
No, I think it's kismet because my husband was like, we were sitting at Thanksgiving and all of a sudden his phone dinged and he's like, oh great, now I'm getting like Zillow real estate, listings for Florida or the Orlando area. And I'm like, it's a sign.
Hey, I mean, every time see, we won't, because Pam won't move away from her family. Like, she's super tight with her family. She's got 4 sisters and her parents, and I get it. Like, she's super tight with her. I'm not with my family, but I love her family, right? I love her family more than, anything. So it's fine. And I like Missouri. I like where I am. Like, I'm good. But in January, when I'm like, it just hurts to like be, how it is. I mean, it's probably worse up there. Like, it just hurts to be alive. Like, all you're doing is trying to be alive, and like just being alive hurts. Just walking outside the door to take the dog to pee. It's like, why do you live here? And people are in Florida right now, like in shorts. Like, something's wrong with us. So you're making the right call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw, because
we'll take the hurricanes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, those are horrible, but yeah, I saw, because I was looking at the weather and I was like, oh God, our wind chill's 21. The other day I was going to take Paige out, or a Paige. I was taking Riley out, and I looked at the map and Chicago's wind chill was 0. I was like, oof, sorry, Paige. Too bad. But, yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna try to find. Do we have some of those on the Clubhouse that people mentioned? Those small ones. Let me look. Discord.
I know a couple of people.
Someone posted one yesterday. Opening Discord app.
I don't remember where I posted it though.
I know it's a problem. I think it was in the current BOG. The new one was from NC Carl in the current BOGP discussion. Then Ricky posted the big thing about the cards. Let's see. Uncrustables. Then everybody's talking about the black and white cookies. Yeah, you posted it in the current on the 26th of November. Yep, 1234. Somebody said picking up a warm quiche in France. But people can drop them in as we talk. I mean, we could just talk about it. It's fine. It'll be fine. It will be fine. As long as we can get the show to like 35 minutes.
I did take my own notes.
Yes. See, I don't make notes. I do this too many times.
I picked a happiest place from each park and then one general resort one. So that's just to be prepared.
God. Preemptive. Preemptive even before the show starts. Thank you. You saved the day. Yes. Hallelujah. Okay. So let's go before we lose our mojo. All right. So let me post this. And I'm just excited because I get to like Taco Bell like an hour before I normally do. I love it. I will not be waiting in line tonight because they messed up my order last night. Even though I got like something, I knew it was off because my order costs like $1 more than it normally does. So I was like, uh-oh. But my rule is, I tell this to the girls, you just get what they give you in the bag and you eat it and you don't complain. Like, so I knew it was going to be wrong, right? Because my total was wrong. Because I get the same thing every time. I was like, that's not the right number. I was like, either the prices went up or my food's wrong. But I was like, okay, it's an opportunity, right? I'm going to get something new. It's still going to be Taco Bell. I get home, and because I didn't get my chili cheese burrito, I got like some grilled chicken something. I mean, it was fancy. Like it was huge. It was like in a silver wrapper, like 3 layers of wrap. I mean, that thing was gigantic. That's why it was more expensive. And it was real tasty, but it wasn't my chili cheese burrito. So, oh well. Tonight I'll make sure I'm getting my right order tonight. Because it's always the same kid that works. I can't believe like he has to hear my voice and be like, dude, this guy gets the same 5 things every Sunday and Monday. Why do I not know? Like he could just like, it's Mike's order. And then I'll ask.
They have a preset for you. You just hit the mic button.
I know, like, how do you mess up my order? It's the same thing every Sunday and Monday. And like, I'm going to ask you for one of those retro cups, even though I don't drink Pepsi. Like I just want one of those cool cups right now for the, the retro stuff. And he gave me one the other day. I'm like, look, I have Coke Zero at home. I don't buy a drink. Can I give one of those cups? Because I come all the time. He's like, yeah, I'll give you a cup. I'm like, I'm always like pimping out Taco Bell on social media. I just need an empty cup. He's like, yeah, I'll give you one. He doesn't care. Anyway, okay, so it's 26:03. We're going to have some fun. And if guys, you have comments, put them in the comments and you will be an internet sensation on Friday. Oh, Kim's here. Hello, Kim. Take a swig. Put the board back and here we go. Welcome to episode 2603 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rahman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're getting ready for a great weekend. Maybe it's one of those weekends where you're getting ready to go out and do some holiday shopping in a physical store as we are here in December. I guess people still do that here and there and everywhere. You know, you got to supplement, you know, the Amazon shopping. I guess you got to kind of do that to get in the spirit. Maybe you got to go out and see the big man at some point, right? You got to tell him what you want. He's out there hustling. He's got to find out if you've been naughty or nice and all that good stuff. So get out there and have some fun this weekend. But take the Be Our Guest podcast with you. And as you do that, we're going to have some fun here to kick off the weekend and just, you know, get you through the hustle and bustle of the season and take you kind of on a virtual mind's eye trip to the Disney parks. And I'm going to even take you on one of the Disney Cruise Line ships with one of my picks today, because we're going to talk about those small moments on your Disney vacation that really make the trip special. Not always. I know that when you watch a Disney commercial, right, you're always going to see somebody on the light cycle on Tron. That's fun. I get it. That is pretty cool. Or riding Flight of Passage. Again, I get it. Cool. That's fun. But a lot of times it's sitting on the curb eating a cookie. And we're going to talk about that kind of stuff. And who gave us this idea? We have a special co-host today, and I'm so excited to have her on the show. Tricia, up in Wisconsin, another hearty Midwesterner here in the month of December. We're making it through. We're having a good time. Tricia, thanks for coming on the show. Happy Friday. What's up?
Well, I don't know if I'm as hardy as you, since we don't have snow in Wisconsin right now.
I know it's crazy, right? We have snow in Missouri. You do not in Wisconsin, but you are colder. So that makes it you're hardier. Because I have this theory that I swear, and my wife, when it snows, I think it feels warmer than when it's like really cold and no snow and clear out. It makes it feel colder. I've always said that. So snow kind of makes you feel warmer. Not scientific though, even though I'm a science guy and so are you. You kind of like science too. So it's just it's a theory.
I don't know. Up here, no snow or snow. It's cold in Wisconsin.
For real. I get it. And then, you know, my daughter moves to Chicago and I'm like, dude, I don't want nothing to Chicago. Like in June, like I've been to Wrigley Field in June and it's like brutal cold, like with the wind, you know, the early part of the season. Whew. She's like, you want to come up watch a basketball game? We're playing LSU December 19th. I'm like, I know you're playing like one of the best basketball teams in the country. And dude, I want nothing to do with Chicago in the middle of December. Are you kidding me? Like that is like the coldest. That's like the North Pole without Santa Claus. I mean, come on now. And it's probably not going to end well. You're playing the best basketball team in the country. No, it's going to be, that'd be a great upset, right? I mean, I'd be storming the court and probably end up in, you know, the Cook County jail, probably, but it'd probably be worth it. You'd bail me out. It'd be worth it to beat LSU, I'll tell you that. But anyway, it's going to be.
Well, Mike, I can tell you, I'll be experiencing that in January. We have a hockey classic showdown at Wrigley Field in January. So I will be sitting out in the cold for 8 hours watching hockey at Wrigley Field.
Now, is it not the Blues game? Because the Blues are playing in the
No.
Okay, no.
That's our
The
Badgers here. Okay. And from Madison, they do a 4-team college like showdown. So we'll be pretty cold. Lots of hot hands.
Yeah, God bless you. I'm telling you what, man, the Wrigley Field is cold in June for a baseball game because I think the Blues are playing the Blackhawks this year in the Winter Classic again at Wrigley, and I'm like, dude, no thanks. Like, pass. I like the Blues, but not that much. So anyway, I didn't even go to the Mizzou game this past. I wanted to go. It snowed at our Mizzou game, right? This past Friday or Saturday. And like, I was all ready, dude. I had the Carhartt stuff ready to go, my Nike running Under Armour. I was ready. I even the girls got a couple of years ago got me some UGG like boots. I mean, like men's. I didn't have the girls. They're like men's UGG boots. I mean, people are making fun of me. I'm totally probably, but they're manly UGG boots. But I was ready to rock it out at the football game. And my wife was not having 120 miles of Interstate 70 that's hilly and windy, and they're doing construction on it. She's like, no, we are not getting trapped in a snowstorm on the way to Mizzou for 120 miles. I was like, Pam, it's senior day. She's like, it's gonna be senior day on TV, brother. We are not going. We have bald tires on the car. I was like, come on. Anyway, so we're gonna be talking Disney. Let's do that. So you had an idea for a show, and we've actually done something similar to this like years and years ago, but that's the glory of doing a podcast for almost 17 years is we can go back and revisit a topic because things have changed, and there's an infinite amount of these things we can talk about today. And this time of year, this is a glorious thing to talk about because in your mind's eye, it can take you right back to a memory maybe you have, and maybe you've had something similar. And our chat can also join us. We have a lot of folks tuned in live, and we can read those as well. So we're going to talk about those small moments, things outside of the e-ticket attractions and those, things like, passing under the sign going into on property and things like that we always talk about, but the small moments sometimes that really make a Walt Disney World or Disneyland or Disney Cruise Line vacation outstanding, things that we love that we just, sometimes just you don't think about very often. So you mentioned this on the Clubhouse over the Discord channel and got it started. So Tricia, give us kind of how this came to why did you think about this when you brought this up the other day, like around Thanksgiving?
Work's been pretty stressful for me. So I have like a happy place that I go to in my mind. And it's always the one that I actually mentioned in the Clubhouse. And that is doing rope drop at Magic Kingdom. Unpopular opinion, Tomorrowland is my favorite land in Magic Kingdom. And I did this with my brother about a year ago. The two of us were there and we rope dropped Space Mountain on empty stomachs. That's critical,
Good idea.
Especially as you get older. And then when
you're a dietitian, correct? So I mean, that is
yes.
scientifically proven. Right.
Yeah. And then when we got off, there's a Joffrey's coffee cart there, and they have like specialty bakery items and different drinks. So they had like seasonal ones with like peppermint in it. And we just got like a pastry and a drink, and we just sat and we watched like the masses of people run by to get into line and things like that. And I don't see my brother that often. He lives in Baltimore. So that was like a really special moment for the two of us to be together and just like literally the world stopped where we were, and it's just everything was rushing around us. And it was just, I go there because I just loved that moment when I'm feeling stressed at work.
Now, let me ask you this though, because that's kind of a double-edged sword, right? With doing what you did, right? You got to ride Space Mountain with your brother, ride at rope drop and have that fun. But when you got your Joffrey's treat, which I know the cart right there, because my go-to off that cart, I'm not a coffee drinker, but it does have the pink donut. Oh, man, I would kill for a Joffrey's pink donut right now. Those things are so, I don't know what it is, because it's probably just a regular donut, but it's one of those things that it just tastes better because you're on vacation and you're at Walt Disney World, I think. But man, those things are stinking good. But do you have like FOMO that like you're pausing for a minute in that prime time of the first couple of hours the park's open, or can you let that go and just be in the moment of kind of like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and enjoy my snack and kind of enjoy the environment?
For me, I actually follow JOMO, the joy of missing out.
Like it.
And I think I get to go frequently enough that I want to take those moments. And honestly, I feel like I remember more of the trip when I slow down versus trying to cram everything in. You're just miserable, your feet hurt. But if you take those moments to just enjoy, like, honestly, I've been so many times, and yet it still feels so surreal when you walk into any one of those parks. And I never want to lose that feeling. And I think taking a moment to sit down and being like, I am so blessed to be here is something that makes me want to go back again and again.
See, that's why I love having the show and getting different perspectives from folks that we get to talk to from different, points of view and different, love. Some people go for the very first time. Some people have been way more times than I have. And Joe, I've never heard that. And that's a great way to think about things. I love that. And everybody's going to hear that and hopefully share that with their family. Man, what a great perspective. It makes me think. So you're going to talk about like one for each park, you said, and also a resort. So I'm going to kind of go the same way. I go down solo a lot for the race weekends. I'll be doing that again, in January because my wife has to teach and the girls are older now. So it's just me. And so I got to kind of find just go in and just find a thing to do, in my park days. And a lot of times, the same thing. I'll go back to Gaston's and just grab my big cinnamon roll and my Coke Zero and just really take it in. And just, I love it, right? It's a cozy little place to go have your breakfast. It's not a big breakfast. I mean, it's probably a billion calories with that cinnamon roll, but it makes me happy, right? And if I can get the chair under the big antlers or something like that, bonus. But if not, it's fun as a solo traveler. And I don't know how many people have actually traveled solo. Some people have, some people haven't. But you can get there and kind of, check in with everybody back home on your phone. But at the same time, what I'm doing is it's a small enough little cozy place at Gaston's where you can kind of hear the other families kind of preparing for the day. You can hear the little kids all excited for maybe they're going to go ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, or they're getting ready to go ride Dumbo, or the excitement, the grandparents kind of talking. It's cool because like you said, I've been many times in hearing just everybody's plans and the excitement for the day because the day's kicking off and everything's in front of everybody. And I kind of like being a fly on the wall and hearing everybody's plans and kind of that thing. It's fun for me.
I think it helps you too, like when you hear other people's plans, it's like, oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Oh, I remember when I did that for the first, like, it kind of brings that nostalgia piece in for yourself too.
Yeah, totally. I think some people are worried like, oh, if I go by myself, I'm going to be like lonely, it's going to be kind of depressing. And it's not. I mean, it's a lot of fun because you have the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want. And with your phone, you can text and, Scott's like when Scott's down there, we're always texting and talking, and I'm always watching him on my friends. We're communicating. I'm with my family too. And I'm posting pictures on social media. So it's not that, but it's also just kind of like the fly on the wall, it just kind of watching and observing. Now it is kind of sad when I see dads and daughters interacting. I'm like, oh man, I wish I was doing this with Mallory or whatever, and Paige back in the day. But yeah, they're almost, they got too old too fast on me, so I can't even go there. All right, so let's go to what park you want to go to next. I like that one.
Why don't we go to Animal Kingdom?
I like it. Go ahead.
I really like the Maharaja Jungle Trek. It never has a wait line, so you can just get in line and start walking and seeing all the animals. But one thing that's really special to me about this is my daughter and I watched the Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom show on Disney Plus, and we made an Excel spreadsheet. So kind of like Scotty's been doing in the clubhouse with all of his things.
He's insane with that. By the way, he's like, dude, I made a spreadsheet. I'm like, okay, you did. He showed me that. I'm like, you kept track of every meal you've ever eaten. I'm like, are you nuts? I mean, I can only say it, but no, I'm like, that is next level. Like, as he said, I mean, when he said he kept track of every place he stayed, I thought that was crazy. Then he's got like every meal. I'm like, oh, I love you. Like that. That's why we're brothers. That's great. That's insanity. I love him. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so we made an Excel spreadsheet of all the animals, their names, the animal care team that worked with them, and then notes about what they were doing in the show. And my daughter absolutely loved the tiger who's on this walk, and we just happened to be there when one of the care specialists was actually they kind of stationed them throughout the walk. And I think she had a 30-minute conversation with this person, and it was so awesome to see the cast member light up because it's like somebody's showing interest in this. And my daughter can be very chatty. So it was just again, it's that slowing down, it's taking that time. If you've never taken the time to talk to an animal or a cast member in either Animal Kingdom or Animal Kingdom Lodge, I highly recommend doing that. They're just, a lot of the times they're even from Africa, and they can share insights. We actually got to do that at the lodge with a gentleman that was from like South Africa, and he was talking about all the things he's seen there. And it increases the size of your world when you can do that. So I highly recommend taking the time to, not 30 minutes like my daughter, but a couple minutes to just learn something about, what they have to share.
And you know what, for that cast member too, it probably made that person's day as well, because somebody showed interest in what they're doing and they feel appreciated because they have this knowledge. And when you have knowledge, the best thing to do with knowledge is to share it and pass that on. And, Lorelai is going to take that and run with it when she gets back to Wisconsin and, tell everybody about that experience. I mean, that's cool. That's what I love, right? Is that it wasn't this one thing happened at this one point in time in the animal kingdom, yet we're talking about it, at this point in time later. It lives on. That's so cool. I love hearing that. That's awesome. I'm trying to think about what mine would be at Animal Kingdom, because I hate to say it, but Animal Kingdom is my park where I go least. For me, I guess my small moment over there is typically when I go to Flame Tree, I like to get something to eat there and just go way in the back there. And I don't know if you guys see, the thing is, I don't go to Flame Tree as much as I did back in the day. Flame Tree used to be my go-to place to eat there, but then it got replaced by Satuli Canteen because I love Satuli, and it's replaced. But the Flame Tree smells so good when they start firing it up around lunchtime. But I used to go there, and then I would go way in the back there and just sit where you can just overlook Expedition Everest and see that beautiful view. But that would be, it's so peaceful back there. It's almost like you're not in a theme park. And I would sit back there, and they've done a good job of mitigating the birds. Back in the day, the birds used to be terrible, but that's kind of my just moment where I would sit back there and just kind of take in you would hear the coaster and the excitement of it, but it felt like it was like 2 miles away, and it's not. It's just right across a couple paths. But you'd have some good barbecue, some slaw, maybe a dessert, and just be able to kind of get a little respite there back and take it all in. But that was kind of my my chill out small moment time back in Animal Kingdom, I would say. All right, so you want to go to the studios next?
Sure.
All right, what you got?
Okay, well, if you can tell behind me, everything is Star Wars.
I like it.
I have a Star Wars Christmas tree. There's actually a droid down here that I made. You can't see it, but I did go to Savi's workshop, and I've got my lightsaber mounted on my wall. I love Star Wars. I'm wearing an Ahsoka Tano shirt. Actually, listening to some of the podcast episodes from last week, I also have a Star Wars tattoo that I got at Star Wars Celebration. So I've been to the cons. So of course I'm going to say Galaxy's Edge. And honestly, it's like the entirety of Galaxy's Edge, but besides doing Savi's, which I had the biggest grin on my face when I was doing it. Like, I felt like a kid waiting in line to see Santa when I did that experience. I love the fact that there are still opportunities for Disney to make adults feel like kids. I just love that. And that was an experience for me. The trip when I was with my brother, he's also a Star Wars fan. I also really enjoyed the First Order area, and when Kylo Ren comes down on his ship and the stormtroopers are there, and we were in the audience, and I booed really loud. And then they looked right at me, and they like pointed and said something, and I pointed at my brother to make it look like he was the one that had booed. So like that interaction with characters, I just think is so great. You don't get to see that as much in some of the other areas. They allow those walk around characters in Galaxy's Edge, which I think is, gives you very unique opportunities. But probably the biggest thing was if you have a Magic Band Plus, they do the Bounty Hunter Guild like game that you can play. And my brother and I were so determined. We were like, oh, they're good. They're going to give us something. Like, we're going to get like a coupon code or go here and get a pin at the end. And we played the game for 4 hours. So I do not recommend playing this. We put on 15 miles in Galaxy's Edge.
Oh my
God.
God.
In Galaxy's Edge. Walking around because you have to go out of all these different doors and stuff. And at the very end, it just resets the game and you start over. And my brother was like, are you kidding me?
You're
so
like, sorry, thanks.
But that experience, yeah. So I went on Etsy for Christmas last year, and I bought him a Bounty Hunter Guild pin with the emblem
Thank
as
you.
like a way to make like, hey, look, you win this.
This is
4
your
hours
half,
later.
your half marathon in 4 hours and 2 extra miles medal for your sticking this one out for all that work. Sorry. Thanks for playing.
So I'd recommend doing a couple of the bounties if you want to try it out. It gets very tedious after a while.
I know this is kind of off topic, but you're the perfect person to ask. Like Galaxy's Edge is it's great. Like, right. I mean, we got the model of the Millennium Falcon, which I think, like, when I saw it, I almost cried the first time. Like, I was like, this is incredible for my childhood, because, you know, Star Wars to me came out when I was 4, and I grew up with the original trilogy and, you know, and everything, and it's amazing. What would you like if you could give one improvement to Galaxy's Edge as a land? What would you do to it? Because it's kind of ambiguous, right? And they made it that way, so it's not set in any particular like movie. Is there anything you would do to make it a little bit better right now?
I know they want to keep things in a timeline, so that's why it's all like the sequel trilogy, but I would love it if they would go back to the original trilogy and even the prequels. I've read every novel that Galaxy's Edge is in. There's actually several. They made a travel guide, actually was in Disneyland when I met the writer of that book. That was totally by chance. He just happened to be there and he ran into me, and I had it open and I was walking through Galaxy's Edge like a tourist. And he's like, hey, what do you think of that book? And I was like, oh, I love it. This is great. He's like, I wrote that. Dang. And I was like, I have to get a picture with you. Yeah, so that's pretty awesome.
You're like,
but
a few minutes, yeah.
But in all of that, they actually do mention Batu, the planet where this takes place, in all of that like timeline. And I feel like they need to like loosen it a little bit. And I think it'd be great if, like, you know, 11 a.m. you'd see like original stormtroopers roll out with Darth Vader, and maybe at like 2 p.m, then you see the First Order, and then maybe 4 o'clock or so you see, you know, Grogu with the Mando come out. Like, it'd be great if they would do all like eras of it and not just the most recent stuff.
Now, see, and here's what I'm thinking. This is just me as a Disney fan, right? And I've always said competition is always a good thing. And I'm a sports guy. You know, I'm 100% a sports guy. I've always coached, and, you know, with my girls and stuff like that. Paige works in, you know, that she works in sports, and that's all we watch around here. But I think competition brings out the best in not just sports, but in everybody, in the business world and in theme parks. I think it will too. And Epic Universe is opening this next summer. You just got back from a Universal trip. Short, you know, we've been talking about this in the clubhouse. And I think the possibility of what Epic Universe will be offering over there could bring about, you know, Disney to up their game with not only bringing about new lands like Villains Land and this new Cars experience coming to the Magic Kingdom and so forth. They're going to be bringing a lot of new experiences to the parks, but also in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that, like you just said, they have this amazing land, Galaxy's Edge, both at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. That seems like such a simple fix, right? Just take it and take it to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Like, have the stormtroopers kind of like they used to do with Streetmosphere at Disney's Hollywood Studios. At 11 o'clock, it's time for the stormtroopers to go to work, you know, and, you know, they're all reporting in, you know, checking in, and Darth Vader's marching them out. Did you go to the studios back in the day when they didn't have Galaxy's Edge yet? They didn't have, but they had, you know, basically they marched out from Launch Bay. I mean, when they did that stuff was pretty epic, you know, before Galaxy's Edge. I enjoyed that stuff.
Yeah, I remember it was kind of towards the new stuff because they had like Captain Phasma and the Silver.
Yes.
She like led them out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was
I missed that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Batu, I would rather have the land. You know what I'm saying? The land is pretty epic with every, you know, the visuals, and, you know, you can hear the soundscapes of the ships going over, but the way they made the experiences of like the marches and, you know, coming out, I know some people said it was like a fashion show with the droids and stuff coming up on the stage, but it was, in a way, I kind of missed that, you know, like it was an epic like experience of everybody coming out and you could see them and take pictures. Phasma, you're right. I missed Phasma. That was neat. Yeah. Anyway, we're kind of getting off track. But you're an expert. So I love. We have an expert. I try to take advantage of it, and you're an expert. So mine at the studios. I love sitting on Sunset Boulevard again. Kind of like I said with over at Magic Kingdom in the morning. I like just sitting like in any time of the day on Sunset Boulevard and just taking in watching people go back and forth down Sunset. And a lot of times it's because people are checking out Tower of Terror and they're either talking about what they're going to do, whether they're going to ride it or not, because you can hear people screaming at the top all the time. Just in watching, people coming and going. And Sunset to me is kind of like old Hollywood studios. It's I don't know. It's not Toy Story Land. It's not Galaxy's Edge. It's not new studios. It's not new Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. It's almost like a relic of the old park at this point. And it's got great background music, and it's just it's got a little hustle and bustle, but not too much. So I just kind of like grabbing a snack and maybe sitting like outside of Rosie's, over by maybe Fairfax Fair, and just chilling out over there and kind of taking it in and just enjoying the day. If it's a nice day, if it's hot, maybe not, but depends on the weather. So that's kind of my spot. All right, so let's go over to Epcot. What do you got for Epcot?
So I love the macaron ice cream sandwich in the French Pavilion.
Man,
So getting that,
Uh-huh.
And then finding an area that's just quiet. It's pretty hard to find seating back there, but if you can get like a ledge around the water feature that they have, like that would be really great, a spot to sit. Otherwise, just kind of milling about that land now that they've expanded it too to include Remy's. There's more space to explore. So just honestly exploring anything, grabbing your favorite snack. There's just so much that I think we don't see at Epcot because we're too busy going to like the next thing, or there's a festival and we're trying to get through the cookie walk or go to this booth and that booth and check things off in the passport of like the food items. And I know this is something that I really hope to spend more time on when I go for Princess Weekend, is to just slow down and enjoy what Epcot has to offer without all the like frills and gimmicks of festivals.
Right. So let me ask you this too, while we're over at Epcot now. What do you think about all the changes that have come about to Epcot in the past like 3 to 4 years, especially with like, the revamping of the old Future World to what it is now? You a fan?
Okay, I don't get sick on Guardians, so I do love that. But I grew up with Ellen, and I'm sad to see that go. I was around for veggie, fruit, and Body Wars and all those things that aren't there anymore. And it's sad, but it kind of harkens to what Walt Disney said, that like the parks are meant to be changing. And I think finding joy in the things that are there now. I was so nervous going on Guardians, and I have to blame you for that because of your telling of it.
I probably blow it out of proportion because I'm an old man yelling at the clouds at this point. I hate that, and I shouldn't be like that. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, and I always try to clarify that it is an amazing attraction. It is.
Yeah.
Awful. I mean, it does it rings all the bells and the whistles, but
so
it's intense.
But I'm glad I had that experience. It was so funny because I do get motion sickness, so I wear the Sacropine patches that people wear like on like sailings for cruise ships and stuff. And I had like peppermint oil under my nose, and I had these like wristbands that put like pressure going.
You had all the stuff. I went in after having a margarita and like 3 empanadas in Mexico. That's back.
And even with that and the apprehension that I had, it sounds so silly as an adult, but sometimes like we don't get a lot of opportunities to face challenges anymore. Like I've been at my job for 15 years. I'm pretty good at it. I don't see a lot of new things. So it's like kind of a sense of accomplishment and pride when you try something for the first time. And I am glad that Disney does offer that. And it still is sad when you lose some of the things that you grew up with.
I'm with you. I mean, because for one thing, Body Wars, I did that a couple times back in the day. That thing killed me because that simulator was just rough. I mean, plus, like I can't stand blood. I can't stand like seeing anything like that. I mean, just like that made me gag. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody's like bleed, I have to run. Like I can't do that. So the fact that it was a simulator and you were going through somebody's like veins got me out, man. I was like, oh my gosh, you're killing me. So that was out. And I can see where, I mean, again, I'm very nostalgic and I like old stuff. Like I still think Living with the Land is the best thing ever. So please never, ever take that away. But I can understand the argument where the world has moved on past an attraction like Ellen's Energy Adventure. Like that was super slow and super long. I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I wish it was still here. Like that's my jam at this point in my life. But I can see where the world would make fun of that at this point. Like it was slow and not really cool for 2024. And Guardian, like there's no way you're gonna say like, okay, do we want Guardians or Ellens? I mean, there's no argument. I can't argue it anymore. There's no way you can't do that. So I get it, but you know, like I do miss like Fountain of Nations. Like that was a beautiful fountain. Like that, I miss kind of that, you know, because it had music. Yeah, you got wet when it was windy. I mean, that was, you know, interactive. It was fun. But I don't know. You're right. You just got to embrace the changes and you get new stuff. Do you have a better attitude with it? I think it's I have a harder time with change. I'm very, very nostalgic. I do enjoy though, like Creation or Connections Cafe. That's a nice upgrade. That's nice. You know, I did like Electric Umbrella, but again, I like, you know, the old K cafes back in Kmart's, you know, cafeterias. So I'm old. I don't know. I mean,
I think
but I mean, okay. Let me ask. Here's the killer question: would you rather have Creation Shop or would you rather have Mouse Gear back? Tell me, you would
okay.
rather have Mouse Gear. I mean, come on, you got to rather have Mouse Gear, right? Without the smell.
Yeah, that was my thing. Like I cannot have this.
Because that place did stink. It was built over a trash compactor or something.
Okay, and I listened when you guys were talking about shopping locations on one of the episodes, and I honestly don't mind World of Disney because I basically just buy Star Wars stuff, so I know exactly where to go. So if you're going in there for a purpose, I honestly think that the store at Epcot is just a light version of that. So everyone like rails on World of Disney, and I'm like, well, this is just a white sterile version, slightly smaller of that. It's all open.
You go
I
to
feel
buy,
overwhelmed there.
you go to buy, you don't go to shop. Like that's my like I'm a buyer. I don't like this hang out. Like I'm just going, I'm on a mission. Man, I don't like this hanging out. Oh yeah. But which one though? Would you rather Mouse Gear or Creations?
You know, again, if there wasn't a smell, I think I might have to say mouse gears because I grew up in the era of the Disney store in malls.
Yeah.
And it just had a little bit of that flair to it. And like,
Character. It had a
I
soul.
miss that.
It did. It was gaudy, but it had a heart.
I like gaudy.
But look at this. Look at around me. It's gaudy in here. It's why my wife says I have to keep the door closed. She's like, close the door on that mess. Keep it in the basement. That's exactly it. She hates this, but you know, I love it. We're opposites and we're married. That's just how it works. All right. So you have one for the this is so much fun. This is why I love we have such great community because we all appreciate things for different reasons. And that's what the parks and the Disney community is all about. All right. So let's go to a resort. What do you got for the resorts?
So we did a split stay the first time we took my daughter down, and we ended up at Fort Wilderness and stayed in a cabin, the old school cabins.
Nice.
And yes, they are very hard to get into the bed.
I've heard that.
When someone so I end up sleeping on the bottom bunk. But my husband unfortunately had to work the last night we were there, and my daughter was bummed, and I was like, hey, let's go to the campfire. And we didn't have the golf cart. That was a mistake. So we're walking along, and one of the cast members in a golf cart came up on us and was like, hey, where are you going? We're like, oh, we're walking over to the campfire. And she's like, I'm headed that way. Why don't I give you a ride? And we got in, and she was just kind of asking like where we're from, and they're really great at like engaging you in conversation. And then my daughter made a comment that she was sad that her dad had to work and wasn't joining us for this. And I was like, yeah, it kind of sucks, but we'll still have fun. And we went and we were like standing in line to get the, overly priced s'mores kit. And she walked back up to us and was like, hey, do you want to meet some special friends? And Lorelai's like, yeah. So she took us back behind where the seating is, and we had 15 minutes, just her and I with Chip and Dale. And we got to walk in with them before they do like a sing along, and then they do like a movie. And so we were like the family of the night, and it was just such a special moment. I have like the best pictures. She took my phone and was taking pictures of us like walking in with them. And then to this day, like they have like shorts on Chip and Dale. We found their statue, their gold statue in Magic Kingdom, and my daughter and I like posed with them. And to this day, that they are her favorite character because of that interaction and that chance that she had. So I like having the opportunity to find the hidden like gems at the resorts is a like why you need to stay on site. Like people talk about the price, but there is so much that you gain when you do stay on site that you miss out if you're staying off property.
Well, and kudos to that cast member too, because the cast member had two opportunities at that point, right? They could just driven right past and gone on with their day, and they're doing their job. They're just moving on. But a great cast member sees an opportunity to make somebody's day, and not just make somebody's day, make somebody's trip and make a memory forever. Again, we're talking about this because you got that special moment, and they're going that way anyway. And I would imagine that, there's probably two kinds of cast members, right? There's cast members that see this as a job, and there's cast members that see this as a passion, that want to do this because they are truly in it to really make the experience better for each and every guest. And that's what you came upon that day. And I mean, I'm sure when they were in the golf cart, you were just thinking about at first, like they're talking, this person's talking you up, asking you where you're from, like you said, but in their mind's eye, they're thinking, oh yeah, we're going to go, they're in for a treat. She knew this at the time, or he knew this. And what a great experience. I mean, because it probably wasn't any harder for them. They were probably going there and they knew they were, doing this job anyway, but wow, what an experience. How cool is that? You got to hang out with Chip and Dale before the show, before the sing along. I've heard that's a cool experience too. Is that something that everybody should check out over at the fort?
Yes. And if Scotty catches any of this, he needs to do that since he's staying there. The campfires are great. The campfires are great. Like, this is a good time too, because it is a little bit cooler in the evenings down there. We were there in February when we had that experience. So it was like jacket weather for Florida. But I would highly recommend doing it. It's a lot of fun. And I'm a stickler for schedule. I'm going to say this to all the schedule parents out there. You got to let loose a little bit. I let my daughter stay up late. She was 4 years old, and it's one of the only memories she still can recall very clearly. And that was like worth her going to bed an hour later.
Yes. I mean, you got to live a little, even when you're 4, I guess, but I'm the same way, I'm very schedule driven. It drives me crazy. Like my watch goes off at 10:30 every night. Like, it's your bedtime. Like, I'm 50 years old, but whatever. My wife makes fun of me. I'm like, I'm a robot, but same thing. So this has been fun, but let me ask you this. So cruise line. Now we are going on the podcast cruise. You're joining us in July on the Disney Magic. Can't wait. Got my hoodie on from the last one. And now, have you sailed on Disney Cruise Line before? Ever? I haven't asked you that.
I've never stepped foot on a cruise ship.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well then you don't have a small moment for a Disney cruise yet. That's awesome. So let me ask you this though, because I know how you are, because we're kind of friends and we've met up for Mexican here at El Azteca once, and I had a good time there with your family. It was great. What are you, because I know you probably researched this, like, what do you think you're going to enjoy as far as the cruise ships outside of like the obvious? But I mean, we're going to be selling the Disney Magic. We're going to Castaway Key. We're going to Lookout Key. Can't wait for that double dip. But on the ship itself, like, is there something that's outside of the, obvious that you're kind of looking forward to, kind of off the beaten path?
Well, I'm trying to go in with realistic expectations. This being my first cruise, I don't think we're going to have the access to online or onboard activities that, more seasoned cruisers will have. So we're trying to take advantage of like just what is offered without, the hectic having to scramble and be up whatever midnight, or I was reading about how to do all that and I'm like, well, that sounds right up my alley.
Yeah.
But I actually bought like a GoPro type camera that's in a waterproof case. And my daughter's on a swim team. She loves swimming. So I'm really hoping to get some pretty awesome video and photo of her like snorkeling. I heard there's like an underwater like statue garden that I know she's going to want to check out. So like I'm looking forward to like the pristine water.
Oh, so yes, and absolutely. We don't have a GoPro, but I've always been wanting to get one, and you'll love that snorkeling at Castaway Key. My daughter Mallory, I can't snorkel. I cannot. I think it is physical. My brain won't work to breathe while my face is underwater. I can't do it. I tried to scuba dive when I was at space camp because it was one of our advanced camps academies that I did with my advanced teachers. And they offered me to go down 30 feet in the tank. And they told me about the bends. And I'm like, nope. Because they said, if you panic down there and you shoot to the top, you will have pains like you've never had in your life. Your capillaries will explode. I'm like, I'm out. I'm like, I love you guys, but I will take video I'll take all the pictures from the top of the tank when you guys get out. I'm like, I am not having exploding veins from something called the bends. They showed me the video. I'm like, peace out, brothers. I'm not going. Because they're like, you're good. Just if you freak out, just don't go up fast. Just go up, stop after 2 feet. Just wait for your body to recompress or whatever. I'm like, dude, if I freak out at the bottom of that tank, first thing I'm gonna do is go whoosh, straight up. And they're like, you will die. I'm like, I am not going in then, because they had me all hooked up with the tanks, and I'm like, no. Anyway, Castaway Key, and I haven't been to Lookout either. So this will be my first time going there. But the snorkeling at Castaway, man, Mallory loves it. She always goes with Pam Forrester because Pam Forrester is a snorkeling queen. So those two always snorkel together. But yeah, Lorelai, boom, she needs to snorkel with Mallory. Mallory will go out there, and they do. They have all the statues and all the stuff under the water. I don't snorkel, but that way Mallory will have a buddy, and they can get all the video and all the pictures and all that stuff. It's so cool. I'll just hang out on the beach and enjoy the sand and the water. I don't need to be under it. I can just kind of chill in it. I'm good above it. But yeah, but on the ships though, there's great things to do. Like, if I was going to say like a small moment to just kind of enjoy is like, there's a Cove Cafe, and I'm not even a coffee person, but you can go in like early in the morning and they have free pastries and just kind of chill out with a book, or something like that to enjoy. You got to see a sunrise and a sunset on a ship. They're so beautiful. There's not really many people that get up on decks in the morning early. It's great. So yeah, you're going to have a good time. I can't wait. It's not that far off. It's like 260 days at this point. Something to look forward to.
Have the countdown going.
On this thing right here in the office. I see it every day. So it should be pretty soon. Well, Tricia, hey, what a great time today on the show. I appreciate you taking the time to make this show awesome and give us a little virtual vacation to the Disney parks and the resorts today. So much fun. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So any big plans for the weekend? You guys doing any like holiday stuff up in Wisconsin? How are things? Hockey games? What you got?
Well, actually, yes, we have a hockey game on Saturday. And my daughter's in band. So instead of doing a winter concert, our school has a pancake breakfast with Santa, and each of the bands gets a 30-minute slot to perform and be like the background music for the experience. So we'll be eating pancakes with Santa this weekend.
Oh, man, that sounds glorious. Pancakes and good music, and get to put in a good word with the big man. I mean, doesn't get better than that. That sounds great. Hopefully maybe it'll get up to 50 this weekend up in Wisconsin too. Let's hope. All right, Tricia, you have a good weekend. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Don't forget, today's show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney vacation. Just check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you do all that holiday shopping. Just bookmark it, put it right there in your toolbar, and click through it as you make all those purchases this holiday season. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys make the show possible. It's just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you at patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give me a follow on the social media. I'm at beourguestmike on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. I'm also on Blue Sky because I'm going to be going on the Disney Treasure next week. I'm going to be heading to Animal Kingdom Lodge on Wednesday or Thursday. I'm on the 11th. And then I'm sailing the Disney Treasure on the 12th to the 15th. And I'll have internet access and checking it all out. I'll be online a lot. So follow me on the socials so you can check out this great new ship in the Disney Cruise Line fleet. So follow me over there. And of course, we'll have a live show this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. It's the BOGP open line. Scott will be back. We'll be talking about golf carts, cabins. I think he's even going to the cake bake shop. He went to Candlelight Processional for the first time and all that good stuff. So give us a call this Sunday night. We'll be talking Disney with you. All right. Till we get back together again in 48 hours or so. We hope you had a great show. We hope you enjoyed our show today. We hope you have a great weekend. So for Tricia up in Wisconsin, go Badgers. I'm Mike here in Missouri, MIZ. You guys have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. That was a great show. Thanks so much, Trish.
No problem. I go by either, so you can call me whatever.
I had my friend that I used to teach across the hall with, his wife's name was Trish. So sorry, bad habit. I was like, Trish. I always just yell at her, Trish. My color, okay, yeah, they're green and red. Yeah, okay. I thought my colors changed behind me. They're red and green. So if I change the volume on my TV, my colors change on my LED lights. I noticed that the other day. It's weird.
Whoa.
On the same frequency. I know. It's haunted in here. It's crazy. Well, thanks so much for doing this. I appreciate it. And tell the family I said hello.
All right, I will do.
All right. I'll see you later. And thanks for everything you do over in the clubhouse. I appreciate it. And
No
I'm glad
problem.
I got it
Take
right
care.
this week. All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.